Namaste. Hello. Hope you have all enjoyed my short stories in three languages. But at the same time, I'm so happy that some of you really got irritated that I'm not uploading any videos on theories or literature, and I'm just wasting the time by telling stories. Thank you for missing me. Thank you for missing my videos on theory. And I'm really sorry that some of your exams, first internal exams are over. I couldn't help you. Anyway, I'll try to be very regular in uploading the videos on theory. So today, I'm going to talk to you about Russian formalism. This is just going to be a talk, a friendly talk, not scholarly lecture. I'm just going to share what I know about Russian formalism to you, that's all. So, what is Russian formalism? Russian formalism is a theory that got originated in the second decade of the 20th century. To be specific, you can say that it was released in the year 1960s by the people in the Moscow Linguistic Circle. Moscow Linguistic Circle was formed in the year 1915. And why this Russian in Russian formalism? So it's obvious from what I have told. Russian formalism originated in Russia, in the city of Moscow and St. Petersburg. So they were a linguistic circle. They were a group of people who belonged to Moscow Linguistic Circle. It's Viktor Shklovsky, Roman Jakobson, Boris Eschenbaum. These are the three names which you should remember always. I repeat, Roman Jakobson, Viktor Shklovsky and Boris Eschenbaum. These three were the most prominent figures of the Moscow Linguistic Circle. Actually, the term formalism was first used as a derogatory term, a formalist. But later people got used to the word Russian formalism and they started to use it very naturally. Why people were not happy with the formalism method? Because the advocates of Russian formalism, they believed that content is not important in literature but form. To make you understand this better, what happens in a traditional classroom? A teacher comes to the class. She will be talking about the background of the novel, if it's a fiction, historical background, social background, even the biography of the author, right? And we were made to study the social history of England in your first semester and even history of English literature, right? But according to the Russian formalist, all these are not at all important, and what is important is the literary devices, techniques, that is the form which is used to write the particular literary work or any work of any genre. And it's an easy guess that this is not going to be a happy thing with the Marxian critics. Remember, this Russian formalism originated in Russia in the second decade of the 20th century, where Marxism is very popular. It was a time when it was in its peak. And Marxian critics advocated that what is important, social, cultural context in a literary work is very important, and a literary work should aim with the social development of the people. It should be directly connected to the social life, etc. And on the other hand, Russian formalists were advocating that no, the content is not at all important. What is important is form. Can the Marxian critics tolerate this? And naturally, what will happen in a country ruled by the communists? The Russian formalists, were forced to flee from the country. Roman Jakobson, he came to Czechoslovakia, which was also under the communist regime, and there he started Prague Linguistic Circle, and Russian formalism flourished through Prague Linguistic Circle in Czechoslovakia. Later, and again, remember, it was the time after a decade, Second World War happened, and these writers or these theorists had to lead a life of exile, and Romain Jacobson went to Copenhagen in Denmark, and there he started a Copenhagen linguistic circle. So Russian linguistic circle originated in Moscow linguistic circle, it flourished through Prague linguistic circle, Copenhagen linguistic circle, and later in the 1950s and 1960s he went to America, and there it flourished. I will use the term mutated. It got mutated with the influence of other theories which was very popular during this time. And you may be wondering, what is the significance of Russian formalism in our syllabus, that is the students of Manoன்மணியம் Sundarnar University. Our Unit 1 and Unit 2, if you want to read the text, if you want to have a thorough understanding of the text prescribed in the Unit 1 and Unit 2, that is, I am specifically talking about the students of Manoன்மணியம் Sundarnar University. If you want to understand the text, you should know what is Russian formalism. Unless, Terry Eagleton, in his Introduction to Literary Criticism, he talks very in detail about the formalism. So, of course, I will be uploading a video on that particular text too. So, we will be having a very detailed discussion on Russian formalism again. So now, coming back to Russian formalism, can you find a similarity somewhere with the new criticism or the theories put forward by new critics? Yes, if you feel that there is some, the tracks of Russian formalism and new criticism get merged somewhere, or they are very close to each other, you're right. But the difference is that new critics were not that very strict about the form. They went for literary devices like metaphor, irony. Hope you remember Irony as a Principle of Structure by Cleanne Brooks. So they were going for this irony, paradox, metaphor sort of things. But Russian formalists, they were for more strong literary devices. Viktor Shklovsky, he put forward the concept of defamiliarization. They believed that you have to bring in the defamiliarization effect, literariness. Remember the term literariness. Literariness is very important. That is, there is difference between the ordinary language and the literary language. The language which I speak is very ordinary, right? But there is difference between a literary language. Beauty is truth, truth beauty. Thou art unravished bride of quietness. There is literary beauty in these lines. You can, to understand it better, you can bring in your favorite film songs. There is beauty in those lines which is very different from that of the ordinary language. Terry Eagleton says in his Introduction to Literary introduction part, which is prescribed there for you, he says, Introduction to Literature, he says that it's like the language in the bus ticket. See, the language used in the bus ticket, or the person, the language used by a person who stands in a bus stop is entirely different from the literary language. So this you have to bring in this defamiliarization effect. There is difference between the ordinary language and the literary language, and also the writers use the techniques, alliteration, rhythm, grammatical patterns, phonemes, etc. All these are the literary devices. So, but you may be wondering, yeah, this is there in literature too, in all literary studies. See, we use it as a supplementary thing, right? When you start writing answer for a question, write critical appreciation on a particular poem, what you will do, you will be writing the plot, you will be writing the theme, you will be writing the summary, and then you will be talking about all these devices as a supplementary element. But according to the Russian formalists, it is not the supplementary thing, it's the main course itself, okay? We just have our onam. So it's not the achara, but it is the main course itself. It is the rice itself. So Russian formalists, they wear for the literary devices as the main thing, and they didn't give importance to content. So what happened after some years? people, the other theories developed Marxist criticism. They were against Russian formalism right from the beginning. New historicism, and you have other theories like reader response theory. They were much against the formalist mode of criticism, and somehow people then developed structuralism, deconstruction, etc. And people tend to forget Russian formalism or the formalism. But but I have to tell you something. During the end of the 20th century, during the 1990s, there emerged a new form called New Formalism, New Russian Formalism, but which I will say that it was a mashup of both the original Russian formalism and the historical context, or the importance should be given to the historical context thing. So it was not pure Russian formalism. It was somewhere between the two extremes. So all this is about Russian formalism. Hope you enjoyed my long talk. I don't know how much minutes I have taken. You have enjoyed this my talk on Russian formalism, and my request to you is, I don't know whether I have covered everything or not, but my request to you is that there are a lot of course I didn't mention about the books written by Viktor Shklovsky and Roman Jakobson, etc., but we will be having detailed discussion in the coming videos. But my request to you is, when you learn theories, don't learn it out of compulsion. Develop a passion inside you. Russian formalism, it is the first theory which told you that you have to study literature with a scientific precision. And there lies the excitement. Studying literature with a scientific perception. So keep this in mind, that we are not studying only love stories in our classrooms. We, the students of literature, are also very scientific in our study of literature. So this will boost up your spirit. So learn with a passion, and there are a lot of other videos on Russian formalism, right from the masters, from the Yale University, etc. So you can go for the videos, you can read a lot of materials. The world of internet is open before you. You can Google and you will get a lot of videos, a lot of study materials. You go for it, learn, read and grow, and wishing you all a very happy time. Have a good day. Thank you.